Hello, our project is Student Information System. Our group ID is 8 and course is Design of Software System. Our group members is Tanvir Ansari, Shraddha Ranpurwala, myself Sawan Patel and Viral Jani.
Introduction to Student Information System. First is overview. The proposed Student Information System is having main three types of user and 8 different functionalities. SIS will provide the information of a student via website. User types are separated by the use of SIS. Student will get all the information by SIS, but there must be some mechanism which generate the information. Thus some user must incorporate to generate the information provided by SIS. Faculties are the users which carry out information about the students' attendance and marks, etc. Thus, faculties are also a part of SIS as they will generate the most important function about the student. Now, the administrator is a SIS user who will act as an interface between faculties and student. Second is purpose. Purpose of SIS is to facilitate the student to manage the information of himself, herself. After registering into a program, the student will have many kind of information associated with him or her. SIS will be used to manage those information. Third is objectives. Objective of SIS is manage the student information because the student may not be able to realize what great amount of information he or she may have. SIS will be used to get all the information of student at only one place. SIS will allow student to manage the personal information given by him or her at the time of enrollment for the program. SIS will take information from the student enrollment system and will provide a view to student of his or her personal view. SIS will give student choices of courses pertaining to a semester. SIS will allow student to view their attendance and results. SIS will allow student to send, receive and delete mails. SIS will allow student to view the details of issued books. Then student will be able to manage all the personal and course related information by the means of SIS. Now SRS, System Requirement Specification. First is background. Student Information System is a system which can change all the workflow of a college. DICT is also one of the college which has its own student information system. DICT performs its admission process in 3 phases. In the first phase, it conducts an online test. In second phase, it declares merit which shows the list of eligible candidates for admission. The last and third phase include the things regarding fees payments. Once the student is enrolled for a program, student is associated with many information which is provided by college. College allows student to register for a course at the starting of each semester. College has the enrollment information of a system which has been given by the student at the time of enrollment. College has a library management system which keeps track of books issued by the student. Thus, a student is associated with major 6 kind of information that after enrollment for a program. Now this major information about student include enrollment information, mails, courses, result, attendance, issued books. This information should be allowed to be accessed by a student from anywhere and at any time. So we have developed a general purpose student information system which facilitates student to get this information by the means of a website. Second is contribution. SIS contributes to the growth of DICT very well. Because of such kind of information system, DICT can handle all the information regarding a student in very effective manner. The online admission process also enable the student of outside countries to be a part of a DICT. Student information system not only contributed to the admission process but also contribute to the efficient internal system of DICT. All the work done only via email increased the simplicity and efficiency of work. All the student now can easily select the subjects to be studied for a particular semester. Student also can view their attendance online and get result at their fingertips. Third is stakeholders and interest. There are three kinds of stakeholders. First is student. Students are the main user of this SIS. Student will first enroll for a particular program using this system. After enrolling in a program, the student will manage all the information belonging to him or herself. By the use of this system, student will be able to access all the information of own only on one click. Second is faculties. Faculties will use this system to know that how many students has choose the subjects which will be taught by him or her. After knowing the member of the student for that a particular course, he or she will also provide the detail of the attendance to the student. Each course has different ways of evaluation. A faculty will evaluate each student and then will provide grades to the student. SIS will facilitate faculties to give grades to each student. Once the grades will be given by the faculty, the student will able to check his or her grades in using this SIS remotely. Third one is administrator. Administrator will manage all the work regarding online tests conducted for enrollment of a program. Administrator will then declare the merit on the basis of seats availability for that program. For each student who has enrolled into that program, the administrator will create an account with any temporary password and then will hand over that account to the student. Functional requirements. First is login. Login facility to the student will only be provided to the student once student enrolls for program. Student will be given a username and password to log in into system. Student will enter into the system only when the username and password both are correct. Second one is view personal information. Student will be able to view information provided at the time of enrollment program. The information provided to the student from this system is verified, thus student will not be able to update information. To update personal information, student has to contact administrator and have to follow certain procedure. Third one is add and drop courses. Student registers into various courses for a particular semester. Student will be given a date to fill choices for course of a semester. Student will select choices for course and will submit it. Student will also have a choice to drop courses, but with the restriction the student has to do that before a given date. Once the deadline for choices of courses will end, student will not be able to either add a course or a drop a course. Fourth one is manage mails. Student will be given a fixed amount of storage to store emails. Example 15 MB. Student is given an email ID through which student can send mails. Manage mail include main three sub activities. First is send mail. Student will send mail to valid recipient with a valid ID. Student will specify subject of mail and content of mail. Student will also be able to add attachment to the mail. Second one is receive mail. Student will receive mails from various users. Student will be also able to read all these mails. Student will be able to download attachment sent with this mail. Third one is delete mail. To cope up with the requirement of fixed size of mailbox, student has to delete mails. Student will mark the mails and will delete all marked mails. Fifth functional requirement is view result. Student will be evaluated by forms of exams. Student will give exams of courses selected for a particular semester. Student will receive results given by faculties. At the semester end, student will be given grades. CPI, Cumulative Performance Index. CPI will be calculated based on SPI. SPI is the Semester Performance Index. SPIs are the average of grades point earned for each course for a semester. Sixth functional requirement is view attendance. Student will be able to view attendance for each course of a semester. Student will view attendance of lectures, tutorials and lab session. This attendance will be shown in percentage. Seventh functional requirement is manage regarding reading materials. Student will issue books from library. The list of issued books will be maintained here. The student will be able to see date of issues of a book and date of return of book. The student has to pay fine if he or she will submit books after specified return date. Eighth functional requirement is handle student account. Administrator will create student accounts as per specified programs. Administrator will enter the verified information of a student into the system. Administrator will pass the choice of courses of student to the academic register. Administrator will allot mailbox to each student account. Administrator will give information of attendance and result to the student given by faculties. Administrator will give information of book issued by student from the library. Now, non-functional requirements. First is security requirement. Only authorized user can access the system with username and password. We will have secure database with different categories of users like student, administrator, faculties, etc. Depending on categories, user will be given rights for accessing database and editing database. For example, student can only retrieve information and administrator can have rights for editing the database. Second one is performance requirement. Records and information can be easily traceable. Administrator can manage the whole database of student studying in a particular organization. So database would have performed functionally all the requirements those are specified. Third one is safety requirement. Safety requirement. If at any point database may crash due to virus or OS, then it is required to have a backup. Number 6. Constraints. Assumption for student information system as that it requires basic internet connectivity, which will be used to load the resources to show the information of a student. Constraint for this SIS will include that student information system would only be accessible to student when he is a member of that particular institute.
Hello, my name is Viral Jani and I am going to now explain use case diagrams of our student information system. Up to this point of time, we have understood the requirements of student, that what student expects from us and how the student information system is going to facilitate the student by providing certain kind of services. So we have gathered all the requirements of students and now we are going to analyze all those requirements and we will now create all the diagrams which will facilitate us to design a reusable system. So first we have started with the use case diagram. Student information system is having total 8 functionalities. So there are main 8 use cases in our student information system. First is login. Now there are main three users of student information system. First is student, second is faculty, and third is administrator. These three type of user will use our system. So first, to use the system, they have to be authenticated. They have to log in into our system. Without login, they will not be allowed to access our system. If any user except these three users will try to log in system, they will not be allowed to access our system because they are not authorized users. So only students, faculties and administrator of a particular institute will be allowed to access student information system. Second is enrollment information. Student will view the enrollment information given at the time of enrollment. Now the question arises that from where this enrollment information will come. So the secondary actor of this enrollment information use case is a student enrollment system. Student enrollment system is a system which is gathering the enrollment information of student, and then it will provide us the enrollment information. So we will get those enrollment information and will provide a view of enrollment information to student. The third use case is of manage courses. First, the student will be able to view the courses which he is studying, and in second choice he will be allowed to submit the course choices for a particular semester. Suppose I am studying in first semester, so after completion of first semester I have to register the courses for which I want to be enrolled in second semester. So manage course use case will register the student for particular number of courses, and administrator is going to register the course choices for students. Suppose I have selected the course DSS to be studied in second semester. Now along with me there are other 90 students who has submitted the choice for the same course. So admin will now check whether this course is having sufficient students to be offered or not. If there will be that sufficient number of students, then he will register those number of students for that particular course. The fourth use case is manage mails. This manage mail use case is in turn having three different functionalities. Means in manage mail use case, the student will be allowed to send mails, receive mails and delete mails. Next is results use case. As a student, I will select the courses for which I want to be enrolled in for a particular semester. Now as I have selected my course choices, I will get the results at the end of particular semester. So the results will be submitted by faculty. So faculty is the secondary actor and student is the primary actor, because student is getting the results and faculty is providing the results to the students, and the main user of student information system is student. So the primary actor in all cases will be student. Now the administrator is notifying the students whether their results are generated or not. So administrator is also having attachment with this results use case. Next use case is attendance. It is same as the results. The faculty will submit the attendance and the students will get the attendance. Administrator will check whether all the faculties have submitted their attendance for the selected courses or not. If yes, then the admin will notify the students that okay, your attendance is generated by the faculties. Now you are allowed to view the attendance and results also. Next is books management use case. The primary actor for books management use case is student. Student will be allowed to view all the books which he has issued from the library. So a library management system is also attached with this book management use case. Library management system will give us the detail of issued book by a particular student, and we will show that information to the student. Next is handle students account use case. This handle student account use case is further divided into two separate use cases: create use case, create handle, create students accounts and delete student accounts. So admin will be allowed to create accounts for students and delete accounts for student. Now student enrollment system is also attached with that use case. Why? Because for at the starting of each academic year, the student enrollment system will enroll particular number of students. So student enrollment system will give information about that enrollment. So as per enrollment, the administrator will create the accounts as enrolled number of students. Next is flow for login use case. Now as per each and every use case, I will explain the use case description, then after use activity of that use case, and then sequence of that use case. So first, use case description for login. The user will enter username and password, and then student information system will check for user authentication. If the user authentication will be successful, then student information system will allow the user to log in into the system. Next is the activity diagram for login use case. First, user will check whether he is having username and password or not. If he is forgetting the password, then he will just send mail and this activity will stop. If he is having username and password, then he will enter that username and password. Now the student information system will check whether this password and username is valid or not. If yes, then he will check for the authentication of user. If the user is authenticated, then he will be allowed to access the system. Next is the sequence diagram. This is sequence diagram for whole system. First, the user will send HTTP request to the web server by specifying our given URL, student information system. Next, as he will enter the URL and will send HTTP request, the web server will create a login form. Now user will submit login details, username and password to the login form. The login form will interact with login controller. Login form will post login details, and now login controller in turn will interact with the database. It will check user authentication and then will reply to the user. Now user is divided into further three types. So if the login replies 0, means the user is not authenticated, so user will re-attempt login. Next is if login reply is 1, means he is a student, so student will be accessing further sequence diagrams, means further sequence which a student can do in our student information system. If the user type is identified is 2 means he is an administrator, then he will access the functionalities as an administrator. And if the login reply equals to 3 means he is the faculty, then he will access all the services which a faculty can access. Next is flow for enrollment information use case. The student enrollment system will retrieve the enrollment information of a student, and then student sees and verifies the information. If there is any change in the shown information, then student will directly contact the administrator, as our student information system is not allowing to make updation in this student enrollment system, so he will directly contact administrator. Next is the activity diagram. So first we will get the enrollment information from student enrollment system, and then the student will be allowed to view enrollment information. Student will first submit the request for view enrollment details. Now, as he is submitting request, the student home view will create an enrollment information form which will display the enrollment information form. So to fill this enrollment information form, the student enrollment information form will in turn call to the database student enrollment controller. Controller will talk with the database and will get enrollment information. Now the controller will get the information from database and will display it on the form. Next is flow for managed course use case. Now the student selects the semester and the student gets available choices for courses. Next is student submits the choices of courses. The choices of courses are checked for fulfillment of registration criteria. Students are registered for given choices of courses. Administrator gets choices of courses. Administrator generates course choice report. Administrator then registers students for particular number of courses. Next is activity diagram for managed course use case. First, the administrator will notify the students that the course registration period is started. So administrator will notify the student by sending a mail. Now the student will select the semester. He will get the list of available courses for particular semester. Now he will submit the choices of courses. If the course selection time is not finished, then he will be allowed to register the course choices. Next, another thing is also checked, whether he is fulfilling the registration criteria or not. Suppose I am allowed to take up only 5 core courses and 2 another courses, elective courses. So I will be allowed to take up only 7 courses. So this is my registration criteria. If I will select more course, then I will not be allowed to register my course choices, because I am allowed to register for only 7 courses. But if I will try to register for more number of courses, then I will definitely will not be allowed to submit my course choice. So that registration criteria fulfillment will also be checked, and then after, the administrator will register students for courses. Next is sequence diagrams from the perspective of administrator. First, I will explain you the activity diagram from the perspective of student. So first, it is divided into 2 alternative ways. First, the student will try to get courses, so he will submit the view course details request. Now the home view will create a course view. Course view will in turn talk with the course controller, and course controller will talk with the database. Course controller will get all the courses and will provide that information of courses on the course view. So student will view all the course details. Next is student will submit the course choices. So student will request for submit course choices. Now the course view will talk with the course controller, and the course controller will register the student course choices into database. Next is the sequence diagram for the perspective of administrator. So admin will submit the course registration for particular number of courses on the admin home view. So home view will create a admin manage course view. Now admin manage course view will in turn talk with the course controller, and course controller will talk with the database. So course controller will get all the course registration details from the administrator, and then it will register all the course choices into database. Next is flow for manage mail use case. Student will get all the received mails. Now if student wants to send a mail, then student compose a new mail and then will send mail. Now if the student wants to delete mail, then student will mark all the mails and will delete mails. Next is the activity diagram for manage mail use case. First, as the student will be logged in and will request for the mail, he will receive all the mails. Next is send mail. If he wants to send mail, then first he will compose mail. Then after, we will check whether this mail is having valid recipient or not. If yes, then we will send the mails. If the mail delivery is successful, then this activity will end. If the mail delivery is not successful, then the student will re-attempt this procedure. If the student wants to delete mail, then he will simply select all the mails and will delete mails. Next is the sequence diagram for management use case. The student will view all the mails and then will try. If he wants to send mail, then he will request for compose mail. So a manage mail view will provide him the view to compose mail. Now the student will send mail. So manage mail view will in turn talk with the manage mail controller, and manage mail controller will talk with the mail server, and mail server will send the mail. Next, if he wants to delete mail, then student will request for delete mails. The manage mail view will submit the request for delete mails to the manage mail controller. Manage mail controller will be having all the marked mail deletion. Now manage mail controller will next submit this deletion information to mail server, so all the mails will also deleted from the mail server. Next is flow for result use case. Faculty will give the result and will notify to the administrator. Now administrator notifies the result to the students by mail. Student selects the semester and will get the results. Student gets and verifies the result for specified semester. Now first, faculty is also having two options, to set result and update result. If he wants to set result, then faculty will select the batch, will give the result and will notify the administrator. If faculty wants to update result, then he will select the batch, he will select the student and will change the result. Now administrator will notify the students that okay, your results is generated. Next is student. Student will select the semester and will view all the results. The sequence diagram from the perspective of student. Student will submit the request for view result. Now home view will create a result view, and result view will display all the results for a student. So result view in turn will talk with the course controller. Course controller will get the result from database and will display on to the result view. Next, faculty will submit the result on the home view. So home view will create a result view. Now a result view will in turn talk with the course controller. Now course controller will set the result into the database. Next is flow for attendance use case. First, faculty gives attendance to students and will notify administrator. Administrator notifies students about attendance. Student selects semester. Student gets attendance for specified semester. First, faculty will select the batch. Then he will set attendance and will notify administrator. Next, administrator will notify all the students that okay, your attendance is generated. Now the student will select the semester and will view attendance. Next is student will submit the request for view result. Now the result view will be generated. To get the detail of results, the student result view will talk with the course controller, and course controller will get the results from database and will display on the result view use case. Next is flow for attendance use case from the perspective of faculty. Faculty will submit the attendance. Now attendance view will in turn talk with the course controller, and course controller will set the attendance into the database. Next is flow for books use case. The student first library management, we will get the information from library management system of all the issued books, and then the student will view issued book details. Now student will request for view book list, and then book view will provide the information about all the issued books. So he will talk with the course controller, and course controller will get the issued book details. Flow for handle user accounts use case. The administrator will enter the batch. The administrator selects the program name, enters number of students, and creates accounts of new users. So if the administrator wants to create account, then he will get the enrollment information, enrollment report. He will select the year, select program, and will create the accounts. He want to delete the accounts, then he will select the program, select the batch, and will delete accounts. Next is the sequence diagram. Administrator will submit new user details. Now admin create user will talk with the admin create user controller, and admin create user will talk with the database, and then in database the new users will be created. Next is administrator will submit the user deletion. Admin delete user view will talk with the delete user controller, and delete user controller will notify the database to delete all the users from the database.
Hello, I am Shraddha, and now we will see state diagrams of this project. State diagrams depicts the various states that an object may be held in and the transitions between those states. So our first state diagram is admin create user. Here, as admin will log in into the system, admin will choose any option, but here admin will choose create user option. After that, user data will be retrieved from the database or from the student enrollment system, and that after that new user account will be created. Second state diagram is admin user delete state diagram. Here also same functionality will be taken place, but here delete user account will be chosen, and after that user data will be removed, and that will go to third state where user account will be deleted. Third state diagram is admin result. Here, as admin will log in into the system, first admin will view the courses. After that, admin will choose the courses where result that will be inserted, and after that result will be set for that selected course. As admin will be in the third state, admin can also go back to first state to view courses, to choose again next course for resetting the result. Third state is login state diagram. Fourth state diagram is login. Here as user will log in into the system, first will be the login page, then they will submit the login details, verification will take place. If verification is successful, then they can go to the home view, or there will be the login failure and they will again be at the login page. Fifth is manage course state diagram. Here this state diagram has got two views. First is from student view and second is from admin view. First, student will log in into the system, they will view the course list, they will select the courses according to their preferences of the semester, and then they will register the courses. Here in admin view, courses that are being registered by the students will be retrieved by the admin and they will in turn save it into the database. Sixth is personal info. Here in student can retrieve their personal information from student enrollment system. They can even update those information. Seventh is send mail state diagram. Here as user will log in into the system, then they will log in into the mailing functionality. In that they can receive mail, they can compose mail and they can delete mail. As they will receive mail, those mail will be downloaded from mail sender server. If they have to send the mail, then after composing they can send and they can even delete the mail. Eighth is student attendance. Here student will retrieve or view their attendance of particular course from home view. They will select the attendance option, they will select the course for which they want to see the attendance, and then they will view the attendance. In student book state diagram, student can view books that they have issued from library. And in 10th, student results object constraint language. OCL is a complement of the UML notation with the goal to overcome the limitation of UML. Now OCL of this system. First, student of semester 1 and 2 has to select 5 courses. So context would be student and submit course choice method will be chosen, and our post condition would be student of semester 1 and 2, then the choice of the courses should be equal to 5, so size will be equal to 5. Second, when a student delete mails, the number of mails in mailbox must be reduced. So again context would be student and delete mail method will be chosen. Our precondition would be size of mailbox should be greater than 0, and our post condition would be if deletion takes place, then the size after deletion should be reduced, that is less than size of mailbox before deletion. Third, students of semester 4 with program name MSc has to select one course only. So again context would be student, submit course method will be chosen. Our precondition would be as they are the students of semester 4th, so courses they have chosen in semester 1, 2 and 3, the result of that courses should be greater than 5 or equal to less than equal to 10. So choice old for all that courses should result of that all that courses should be greater than 5 and less than equal to 10. And our post condition would be if semester is 4 and program name contains MTech, MSc or M dash, then the choice of that course should be equal to 1. Fourth, when a student receives mail, number of mails in the mailbox must be increased. So again context will be student, send mail method will be chosen. In that again our precondition would be size of mailbox should not exceed 15 MB, and post condition would be after mail have been received, mailbox size should be increased, that is greater than before receiving mail. Fifth, when student controller registers course choices of the student must have at least 5 choices except for 4th and 8th semester. So context would be student controller and method register student course choice will be chosen. Our precondition should be if student of semester 4th and 8th, then If students of semester 4th, they are not the students of semester 4th and 8th, then their course choice size should be greater than equal to 5. And our post condition would be, if their registration has been done, then old size should be less than equal to new size. Sixth, the students must have stored and verified enrollment information before he or she opts for the enrollment information. So student controller context will be chosen, and get student enrollment detail method will be chosen, and a precondition should be information of that student should exist. So exist method should be true. Seventh, the student only gets result when student has submitted the course choices earlier. So student controller, it would be in context of student controller, and get student result method will be chosen. Our precondition should be choices of courses should be greater than 0. If they have chosen, if they have opted for any course, then only post condition will be able to view the result. Eighth, again same functionality take place for viewing the attendance. So for that also student has to opt for any of the courses, then only they will be able to view the attendance. Design patterns. Design patterns are general reusable solution to a commonly occurring problem within a given context. Student information system is decomposed in 4 subsystems like mail management, course management, user management, information management, etc. First, mail management system. Mail management system uses Java Mail API. Now, mail management system has a mail controller which interacts with a class named mail sender or mail receiver or mail delete. Now, mail sender class is a generalized interface which provides method like send mail to send to for sending the mails. Again, mail receiver class will provide method like receive mail for receiving the mail, and mail delete class will provide delete mail for deleting the mail to various recipients. Now, mail sender class uses mail API to classes to send mail. It means that SI is providing an interface called mail sender which uses a complex subsystem and simplifies user to send mail. Thus, in this case, facet pattern is used in student information system. Facet pattern simplifies use of an existing system by providing an interface to a complex system. It is applied to mail management system that provides reusability. Whenever any other subsystem will be having requirement to send mail or receive mail or delete mail, it may simply use the interface provided by mail sender or mail receiver or mail delete class. Second is course management system. In this, in student information system, the course choices are done on the basis of credits assigned to a course. Student will submit the course choice, and their course choices are submitted on the basis of total credits assigned to that course. Now, courses are revised for their assigned credits after every 3 years, and students' total credit calculation for a semester is changed again after every 3 years. Thus, we have to change the policy for that and have to make modification according to that after every 3 years. So in course management system, courses, course credits and course choice policies are revised after every 3 years, and that leads to incorporating changes happening in environment. So for that, strategy pattern allows the course management system to act accordingly so that we can incorporate the changes. Thus, we have used strategy pattern in this course management system.
Hello, my name is Tanvir Ansari and I am going to talk about Student Information System project implementation. We used a Java technology to implement this project. We have used a JSP, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery as a front-end technology and used a servlet, DAO and database for back-end technology. Here first page is login page. As a student is given username and password to login. Student can't create his account directly. Administrator will create it for student and just give or her a username or password. Student will enter his username and password for login. Whenever he or she enters their credentials, it will go to the login servlet via post method. In servlet class, we are authenticate user by username and password by fetching the data from database and comparing them to check and verify user exit password is right or wrong. After authentication, student can log in into the system. This is our home page where student can use our system. He or she is able to see he or her his or her profile, attendance, grade of percent particular semester. Student can manage their mail system. Student can make course choice for every semester by managing course. First is the enrollment number. Whenever student will click the enrollment information menu, request will go to the enrollment controller servlet via post method. Enrollment controller will interconnected with the student DAO to fetch student data from database. Student data is set into student class which is called a visual object and set that data using a HTTP request object. After setting data into request object with the set attribute method, controller forward that request to the student enrollment detail view JSP page where student can see their profile. If there are any problem with student data like some information is wrong, then student can contact to the admin and admin will cross check and then after change the data according to the student. Student can't change his or her profile directly. Second is attendance. Whenever student will click to attendance menu, a request will go to student attendance controller via post method. Student attendance controller will interconnected with the course DAO to fetch the data from the database. Now, whole data of student for particular semester get from the database and then send it into array list of course choice. Course choice is also visual object of database which contains the attributes course ID, student ID, semester, grade, attendance. After that, this all is using request object with the set attribute method and forward this request to set attendance view .jsp using request dispatcher. On student attendance view .jsp array list and student ID, it get using a request attribute with the method get attribute. After that, this page will show the array list data which can be viewed by student. Then after result, whenever student will click on the result menu, request will go to the result controller via post method. Result controller will interconnected with the course data to fetch the data from the database. Now, whole data of student for the particular semester get from the database and then set it into array list of course choice. Course choice is a visual object of database which contain attribute course ID, student ID, semester, grade, attendance. After that, this list is set using a request object with the set attribute method and forward this request to student result.jsp using request dispatcher. On student result.jsp array list and student ID, it get using a request attribute with the method get attribute. After this page will show that array list data can be viewed by student. Then after course choice, this page of course choice. This page is the course choice. Whenever student can fill the course choice and submit course choice, when student will click on the manage course choice, it will be asked for two options. First is get course, second is select course. Whenever student will click on the get course link, the request will be forwarded to the course controller. Course controller will interconnect with the course DAO. Course DAO has a method name in get course. This method will be get the all course by student's program name and student semester. Whole data is fetched from the database and will be into the sent array list of course. After that, student ID and array list is set using the request object with set attribute method and then forward into the student course choice.jsp on student course choice.jsp. Student ID array list of course is get using request object with the get attribute method and whole data show on the page. Student give you all course data. Whenever student will click on the select course link, the request will be forwarded to the course controller. Course controller will interact with the course DAO. Course DAO has a method named get course. This method will get the all course by student's program name and student semester. Whole data is fetched from the database and will be set into the array list of course. After that, student ID and array list is set using a request object with a set attribute method and then forward into student get course.jsp on student get course.jsp. Student ID and array list of course is get using request object with the get attribute method and whole data is shown on that page. Student can view that course data. Others is mail. Manage mail will manage all mail of student that has been sent or receiver. We have used mail API to send the mail.